Meanwhile, in Istanbul, David, Istanbul or Constantinople, there were demonstrators. They were also screaming Allahu Akbar, and they also said Khaybar, Khaybar.
Mm.
No, no, what's that? What is that all about?
I, if I were Muslims, that would really be the last thing I would ever be yelling if they actually knew what happened as a result of all of that. So, but it fits in perfectly with them not understanding the concept of how things will be worse for them due to retaliation. So, hey, we killed some Jews and now we want to brag about it. And so the tendency for a while has been for this Khaybar shout, which refers to Muhammad and his followers attacking the Jews of Khaybar, conquering them, taking women and girls as their sex slaves, and then forcing the survivors to pay jizya, which was 50% of their annual produce. So they look at that and say, "Aha! You see, we conquered the Jews of Khaybar, then we're going to do that again." And they don't realize that it was a Jewish woman after the Battle of Khaybar who was so ticked off because Muhammad had slaughtered all the men in her family that she decided to prepare a nice meal for Muhammad. And so she prepares some roasted sheep and loads it up with poison and goes and sets it down in front of Muhammad and his companions. And Muhammad, tactical genius that he was, said, "Oh, I just slaughtered this woman's entire family, and she's making me meal. Hey, this is great. Wow, yeah, I love sheep. Yo, it's yummy, yummy." And and of course, Muhammad then sees one of his followers drop down dead in front of him, turns green and drops dead. Muhammad spits out the food, says, I have received a revelation. The angel Gabriel's telling me that this food is poison." So he actually survives, but uh, the poison does some sort of internal damage. Muslims don't understand this. Whenever we bring this up, they say, "Oh, he couldn't have died from the poison." Muhammad said repeatedly that he was dying from the poison. Muhammad, when he's dying, says that it's the poison that was killing him. So if you don't think it's the poison that killed him, great. Muhammad was wrong or a liar or something like that. And we can't believe anything Muhammad said. Muhammad said he was dying from the poison. But here's the idea. If you drink a bottle of Drano, you'll die pretty quickly. If you drink some Drano, you might survive, but it might do all kinds of internal damage to you that leads to ongoing infections and eventually kills you due to organ problems and so on. But according to Muslim sources, that's what happened. Muhammad gets some of the poison in his system. He spits it out, but it must have been something caustic because they said they could, even years later, they could see the effect of it on his mouth. When Muhammad would open his mouth, they say they could see the effects of the poison. So it was something that did internal damage to him, and he eventually dies from. So it's just amazing, amazing that Muslims use this as their example. Ha ha, we're going to get you Jews. We're going to kill. It's like, wait a minute, that got your prophet killed. That caused your prophet to spend years in agony as because his internal organs were dissolved because of this poison, and you're bragging because of it. That's what happened because of the retaliation. That woman never would have thought of poisoning Muhammad anywhere in her life until you showed up and slaughtered her family. Then she decided she's going to take this guy out. And so I it's so short sighted. Ha ha! We killed you, ha! Just like we killed the Jews of Khaybar. Yeah, and they took out your prophet. Was it worth it? Was it worth losing? Was killing those Jews worth losing your prophet? Because that's what it sounds like you're saying.
But of course, what they mean is we're going to commit genocide. We're going to kill you all. And it's astonishing to me how common this chant is because nobody knows what it means. I remember a few years back, there was a very minor episode compared to this where Hamas was firing rockets into Israel from Gaza, and Israel took some actions to retaliate and to stop them. And there was a demonstration, pro-Israel demonstration in New York City. I was there at the time. I went, and across the street there were the Palestinian demonstrators chanting "Khaybar, Khaybar, Ya Yahud." And I thought, this is astonishing. They're saying we're going to kill the Jews here, and nobody cares. Nobody even knows. That's what they're saying.